They were all these disconnected, areas versus sites, and it was, we had clients not understanding the difference. It was complex to create an enterprise environment around 2003.
But bringing search together and ad hoc team collaboration really made sense, and adoption grew. And it went from being somewhat of a departmental solution to being intranets. We're now adopting this as we are going to build our intranet portal, and then we started to see IT hosting team site collections. Essentially, the self-service creation capabilities got incorporated into the product itself, where now IT could host self-service site creation. So now we saw companies hosting thousands of these site collections and being able to retire old front page sites and being able to consolidate file server collaboration data into SharePoint. As well, Microsoft actually acquired this product called Content Management Server. Remember that one? CMS. So with content, or MCMS, depending on who you talk to, Content Management Server capabilities were the publishing capabilities. It was always this decision of, what do we do with our publishing data? So publishing data was outside until 2007, when we had this convergence of the portal capabilities, the search capabilities, the ad hoc workspaces, plus publishing, content publishing, which allowed SharePoint to move from the intranet to the internet sites. So now we had publishing capabilities, even content publishing capabilities to go from authoring environments to production. And that takes us to basically yesterday with 2010.
Which is now officially released as of yesterday. So it's like I said, this is really the version we're seeing this massive adoption with. It's a fully baked enterprise solution. It has a lot of capabilities. It goes well beyond what was available in 2007. They changed the architecture, which is, I'll be leading a session on the architecture of SharePoint later on, so we'll see kind of how a lot of those changes improve the scalability, the reliability, what you can do with the environments, how to set up high availability, and those types of things.
Yeah, what I've heard in Brazil is that SharePoint has been, people are getting really, really excited about SharePoint because of its social capabilities in the enterprise. So essentially, all these youth that are joining the workforce are taking their experience with Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and so on, and saying, how come I can't do that with the data here in our corporation? How come we can't have activity feeds and status and these capabilities of being able to share information very quickly and know what's going on in a fluid kind of way? Well, SharePoint 2010 brings together the best and greatest of search with an acquisition of Fast, which allows us to index millions and millions. Now we're talking 50 million plus documents, and being able to create multiple indexes, indexing essentially your entire enterprise and being able to do it in a systematic, scalable way for the entire enterprise. The services themselves, we get things like Office web applications, we get access services, being able to have, like you could say, oh, we've got older versions of Office on our desktops. Well, now SharePoint 2010 ships with capabilities for being able to have Word, online editing, and PowerPoint, and Excel, and OneNote, where you can actually work with these documents right through the browser. Very, very amazing capabilities, and there's so much, and I think you're going to hear a lot more throughout the day about this future thing that is just, it's created such a huge wave of adoption inside the corporation.
I have another question. So, SharePoint starts 2001, goes forward, collaboration, all this stuff, growing. What happened to change? Because at the beginning, I remember Exchange was the option for collaboration, right?
Well, so there were, at the time, in the day, right, you would have applications like GroupWise that included not just messaging, but also collaboration, bonus notes, those types of things. Collaboration, instant messaging, it's basically all in one package. Microsoft made the decision to create separate products for those. So Exchange became essentially dedicated to messaging, and then SharePoint was the collaboration tool, and you had the Office Communication Server as the instant messaging tool. So if you wanted, all of the capabilities, you get each one of those. And in fact, many times we are putting all three in place at an organization. I was just a couple days ago doing the design with a client where they started just with Exchange, and we got to the point of talking about, well, you can't really use public folders for who shouldn't be using them anymore, and it's not a good space for this, but you have all these collaboration means that we keep talking about and hitting about. Why don't we start talking about maybe putting SharePoint into the design? Because the way Microsoft works sometimes is that at least many of my clients already own licenses for SharePoint in addition to the licenses for Exchange they have. So we put into place, we designed now for that client Exchange and SharePoint and OCS all at the same time, so they get the capabilities of the entire stack. And Microsoft has put integration components between them. So Exchange still has a future. It's a messaging future. It's not really a collaboration future. Collaboration at Microsoft, that's the SharePoint tool. That's where that line is going to, it'll continue to go at least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I think what you see, I don't want to talk so much on the compete side, but what you'll notice with Notes is that it was a well-defined space. And when they thought about new capabilities, rather than building those things into Notes, like as has happened with SharePoint, they add on docs, they add on these same time, they add on all these other capabilities as separate products. But what's happened with the SharePoint platform is it's actually grown. It's incorporated these capabilities as people needed social capabilities, as they needed better alerting, as they needed integrated presence information and so on. These capabilities get built into the product.
And it's also, there's this massive community built around SharePoint, not just the user community, which we'll talk about here in a second, but the vendor community. There's all these companies that are out there creating solutions on top of SharePoint. And that's really, creates a value add for SharePoint as a service, because you can put SharePoint in place, and then you can go out and buy some kind of accelerator for whatever industry you are that has pre-built workflows, that has pre-built web parts that actually work better for your business. So we get, there's this massive structure of all these different third-party companies creating content, and it makes it better value for your money, including Joel's company, Quest.
Yeah, I work for Quest Software. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Not yet.
But at Quest Software, what we do is we add on migration capabilities to get from, say, Lotus Notes or public folders or file shares and so on to get into SharePoint. Or if you're running older versions like, say, 2003, being able to get to 2006, or SharePoint 2007, but also being able to get to SharePoint 2010. And that product was just released last week. So being able to even accelerate deployment inside your corporations. So what's interesting is what's happened in the desktop space. In 1997, it was bringing together something to use for being able to work with spreadsheets, being able to work with a word processor. And we had this bundling of these capabilities, and Microsoft called it Office. This Office suite, right? We brought all these different things together, and you put it on the desktop. Whether they knew they needed to create PowerPoint documents, or whether they didn't create spreadsheets and so on, and information sharing just went crazy. Corporations really adopted that name. We don't now we don't have to buy a word processor and a, right? Now you look at what's happened in the enterprise around collaboration and these various capabilities. You bring together search and content management and portals and search and websites and communities. When you start looking at the new capabilities that SharePoint 2010 brings into the mix, that pie just continues to increase. Capabilities increase. And we bring those things together in the enterprise and run them on a common platform. And that platform is SharePoint.